the studios of Canton High School, it's Focus on Football with Ben Aronson and Matt Martin.
Welcome back to Focus on Football. I'm Ben Aronson here with
Matthew Martin.
AFC and NFC championship games. Recap for you. Probably easily the best week of football. There's only 2 games, but it outdid every other week. Every game, both games were great.
I'm a strong believer in that the championship games are honestly more interesting than the Super Bowl. They're always, the atmospheres are insane. Having the home field, it's nuts. Wow, was that fun.
Both of these matches, these are the dream matchups in the end. Yeah. These were the 4 teams you wanted to see.
We all knew these were the 4 best teams. We said it. We've been saying it since like week 7, week 8 that these are the 4 best teams. Probably going to see in the end. As the year went on, like teams started to get into the conversation.
Patriots fell off. Chargers were on the rise.
Got in there.
Packers were in there in the beginning. Eagles were in there in the beginning of the year, and then it all went downhill. I'm not roasting the Packers for you, but there's teams that you thought could have crept in, but at the end of the year,
everyone was high on.
Once you saw the Chiefs get hot, you knew that it was going to be Chiefs, Patriots, and you knew the Rams and the Saints were going to represent the NFC, and that's what it was. Great week of football. Let's get into NFC first.
The thing is, how these games went, I think the 2 teams that should have won, but easily could have went the other way. One call completely decided the first game.
For both and the second game.
Yeah. I easily could have been Saints Chiefs. I think one thing that I was talking about leading up to these games was not since the Ravens-Niners Super Bowl in 2012 has a road team went to the playoffs and went to the Super Bowl. It's always been a 1 or a 2 seed that always played at home, and 2 road teams won this week.
Yeah, and I think key things for this weekend in particular is the criticizing of the refs in both games. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the Rams-Saints was much more evident in the result of the game, but there was still a lot of calls in the Pats-Chiefs games that resulted in questioning of the officials and the replays and everything. But
and you saw the 2 teams that won. It's like they learned from their mistakes from the first game. We're going to get into that specifically once we talk about the game. So let's just dive right into it. Start with the first game, Saints-Rams. Saints came out hot, came out firing.
Yeah, and you look at a young team on the road like the Rams, a young coach in Sean McVay. Can a team like that bounce back being down 14-0 early? 13-0 early, and they did. And they battled back, and me and Matt were texting throughout the game. The turning point and the momentum
100%
for the Rams offense was a Johnny Hekker fake punt pass.
Yeah. The Rams were the better team this game. The Rams play a very bend, don't break style defense. You saw it. They had a turnover early, and how poorly they started the game. It only led to a 13-0 deficit. They have a very bend, don't break defense, like we've seen success in the past, and they have the big players that make big plays. You just see Aaron Donald, we repeatedly talk about how he is probably the best football player in the world.
Ndamukong Suh stepped up huge for this defense, too. They were both getting a lot of pressure on Drew Brees.
Donald was being double-teamed. He was just swimming through double teams.
I loved how during the games they would show this, like the slow-motion replay of Donald just destroying every offensive lineman the Saints threw his way.
The Rams started a little slow. It was loud. It was hectic. I was nervous about...
Couldn't hear the play calling.
I was nervous about Jared Goff. You saw they were showing it on the screen. They were showing Andrew Whitworth looking over to Roger Saffold, to Whitworth's left tackle, Saffold the left guard, and they changed something in the protections, and he had to look over and like get to his ear to hear what was going on. It was loud. It was bumping. I gotta say, Jared Goff really impressed me as the game went on.
Yeah, and I think a key thing in this game was the first time these 2 teams played, the Rams did not have Aqib Talib. Mm-hmm. And Aqib Talib did better on Michael Thomas than anyone we've seen all year. He held Thomas to 4 catches for 36 yards. Thomas is Kamara you could say, but Thomas really makes that passing offense go.
You look at the first matchup, the difference was Michael Thomas. The first matchup, he had like 12 catches for almost 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. This matchup, I think he had like 5 catches for...
No, it was 4 for 36.
4 for 36, yeah. He did nothing. He was,
and that's what was key.
Silenced. I think the biggest head scratcher of the game, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, I didn't think they did a great job talking about this, was Todd Gurley. Best running back in the NFL. Sean McVay was asked about it, and he said he was taken out of the game because of the situation, the game flow. What? You see C.J. Anderson running power up the middle? Todd Gurley can't do that?
Yeah, and it was very questionable too. I mean, you saw in the passing game, Todd Gurley had those 2 huge drops, but
he's not a benchable player. You can't bench Todd Gurley.
He had C.J. Anderson cannot be a lead back over Todd Gurley, especially in a game of this importance. C.J. Anderson, great pickup, but the day that you start him over your star running back, who you just gave all that money to,
Yeah.
who's scored 40 touchdowns in 3 seasons or whatever it
you
is.
do a 12-4 season, 13-3, right? 13-3.
Yeah, he's really what makes that offense go. I mean, they're usually handing off the ball, and we've talked about it throughout the year. Todd Gurley in this Rams offense have always been able to get like a 5-yard run. You never see those 1 to 2 yard runs, and you saw that a little bit, but you can't judge a guy based off his first 3 or 4 runs. He has to adjust to what the Saints are doing to him, and then you give him a chance. And it was very questionable by the Rams offensive coordinator and Sean McVay to put C.J. Anderson in there.
In the second quarter, the Rams were. I agree with what you're saying. You got to have Todd Gurley in there.
Yeah.
And the issue was they were kind of Todd Gurley wasn't really a part of the game, and in the second quarter they couldn't really get a lot going in the passing game downfield. Goff already threw the interception, and I was thinking to myself, it's 13-3. You took out Todd Gurley was basically nullified from the game plan, and they couldn't get anything going in the vertical passing game. So I thought to myself, I was like, what do they have? What are they going to do? And then Jared Goff stepped up and played probably the best game I've seen him play. He was electric down the stretch.
Yep.
He led them to a field goal after. So it was 23-20, then he led them to the field goal. Oh, and then his overtime, how precise he was.
Yeah, he was great.
So now let's get to the icky part. People that aren't really
It was the worst.
It was. I hate to throw out the worst, the best so quickly because it's hard. This game's going on for like 60 years.
One of the most crucial.
Yeah, but in my opinion, my entire life, and I've seen some bad calls.
That is the biggest missed call I think I've seen
ever. There are multiple reasons. It's not that. Who was it?
I don't even know the guy's name. Coleman something. He 2 names. The cornerback.
Nickel Roby Coleman.
Nickel Roby Coleman. I couldn't think of his
It's
first
not.
name.
It wasn't that he missed. He interfered with him passing. The refs missed the call, letting him play, and he got away with one. Tommy Lee Lewis got hit, helmet to helmet, before the ball was there. A very
He didn't turn his back.
very catchable ball. Sean Payton knew it was pass interference. Tommy Lee Lewis knew it was pass interference.
Everyone in the
Roby
stadium.
Coleman got up looking for a flag. He said after the game he did not think he would be able to stop him, so he tried to interfere with Tommy Lee Lewis, so he couldn't get a touchdown.
Which, in his defense, is a good football play.
Because
it's better than giving up the touchdown.
Yeah, because you could still stop him, hold him to a field goal, and then you're only down 3.
But
he got up looking for the flag, waited about 3 seconds, saw there was no flag, and then started celebrating.
yeah, well, after the game, he said, "I heard booing on the field, so I assumed that I got a flag because I did interfere with the pass."
Yeah.
I mean, it was clear.
After the game, he said he looked up to the football gods and said, "Thank you for letting me get away with one." That isn't getting away with one. That's a full-scale bank robbery.
And that's what's now. There's all this cause for debate of should they be able to review pass interference penalties. And I think if you look at this game, that is that could have been the difference.
Single-handedly, they lost the game because of.
You can't say they would have won.
No.
But
Let me rephrase that. They lost the game, but it doesn't 100% go to that play. They lost it for many reasons. But if you just reverse that call, they win the game because they have first and goal with.
And they would have gotten the ball at the spot of the foul for the pass interference, and they would have gotten the extra yards for the helmet to helmet.
100%. But let's go back a little bit. So there was 2:30 left.
Yep.
Rams had how much time? How many timeouts? 2.
It was
One.
two. I think it was 2.
Oh no, it was 1. It was one timeout because they would have been able to run it down to like a minute 20 or even less.
Okay. I don't know. I don't remember. It was 1 or 2.
If you're Sean Payton, you have to run that ball on first down.
Oh, you got to kill the clock. Especially
You can't.
You're up.
You can't pass
Was it
that
tied
ball.
or were they up?
It was tied.
Oh.
You cannot throw that ball on first down because as opposed to 50, Goff getting the ball back with 50 seconds, no timeouts in the Superdome, he had a minute and a half and a timeout.
Yeah.
That is egregious. So second down, they run it, and then third down. In their defense, it was a run play that they checked and changed into a passing play. So I understand. I'm not drawing it up for Tommy Lee Lewis all game, giving Kamara those option routes out of the backfield. Alvin Kamara, Drew Brees did not have a good game at any
Alvin
point.
Kamara kind of bailed him out.
Alvin Kamara was the focal point, was the entire Saints passing game. Just coming out of the it took them a quarter and a half. It took the Saints a quarter and a half.
Back like a wheel route.
Yeah, and then the option routes took them a quarter and a half to realize, oh, the Rams linebackers cannot stop the Kamara out of the backfield. That's all they did. I'll give him one of those. Let him try and pick up the first down. I don't know. Probably not Tommy Lee Lewis on a wheel route. That's my
not
opinion.
the go-to guy.
But yeah, you reverse that call. They probably win single-handedly. Then Goff comes down. Great drive.
Gets the field goal.
That field goal, it looked like it was.
Oh my God!
was
It looked
like-
like it was off. It looked like
and
it was
then it
going
came
left.
back in.
Overtime.
And then
You know, both games were they were completely different, but like the way that the game started, one team got up 13-0, one team got up 14-0. I mean, we won't get into the Patriots Chiefs yet, but like field goal to force overtime.
Mhm.
A visiting team wins the toss,
Mhm.
so now we can talk about overtime now. 'Cause
well, home team won the toss in the Saints game.
oh yeah, they didn't get it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the
Yeah.
overtime drive was so bad for
Drew
them.
Brees did not play a good game to any extent. The interception obviously wasn't 100% his fault. He got hit. After this game, we're going to compare the magnitude of the two losses for the Saints and Chiefs, because if you're one of these teams, you're feeling a heck of a lot better than the other one.
Yeah, and don't you kind of feel like, I mean, just going back to the beginning of the game, when the Saints were up 13-0, don't you kind of feel like they sat on the ball for a little bit too much than they should have? I think they should have just started to run it up, because there's a huge difference. If they could have got it to 20-0 instead of 13-0, it's a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Especially on the road for a young Rams team.
So then Drew Brees gets hit as he's throwing.
Johnson
Ball's up in the
picks it
air.
up. Johnson, the safety,
John Johnson on his back picks it off.
who should have had an interception earlier
Mhm.
in the game that he missed, made up for that.
Yeah, they got some yards, and then what a call by Sean McVay having his faith in Greg Zuerlein. If Zuerlein misses that kick,
57 years. And they showed the stats. He was perfect from inside 40. Outside of 40 and higher, he was 9 for 14 on the season.
think about it. If he misses that kick,
They're at the.
you got to think the game's probably over.
They're at the
They
other
need
team's
like
40.
they need like 10, 15 yards,
Yeah.
and then a kick, 57 yards. That was probably good from like 70.
Yeah, and we've known Greg Zuerlein to be one of the best kickers in the NFL, but he was injured this year, and he didn't have his best year. But that is a gutsy call in an away arena. They iced him once, and he still made a 57-yard field goal.
That place was rocking. That's a heartbreaking loss for the Saints.
Yeah, and I mean, you look back at it and you say, they didn't play great. The Rams definitely played better.
I think the Rams
but
deserved to win that game.
I mean,
they played better.
Saints players, Saints fans, they all have a right to be mad about that game because of that one call, that one crucial call at the end of the game.
So we'll get to the magnitude of the loss because I have a lot to say on that. Now let's move to game number 2.
I personally think this game was better to watch than the more of an offensive showdown.
Yeah.
Brady, Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes is one fun player. Started out, Chiefs offense looked slow. Patriots did exactly what I thought they'd do. Take the air out of the ball to start. Took off half the first quarter. Keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. We see teams do this against good quarterbacks. We've
Sonny
seen
Michel established the run.
teams always do this against trying to against the pass. Never works. They do it against the Packers. Do it against the Saints. You keep Drew Brees. You keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. Usually leads to good things for you.
Yeah, and Chiefs won the toss, deferred. Patriots got a 9-minute first drive.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny Michel run to the ball up the middle. Tom Brady's passes are right on the dot. They established the run, which is what they needed to do against the Chiefs.
The Pats watch film and analyze teams' weaknesses and exploit them better than any other team in any sport. It's insane how much credit the Patriots coaching staff deserves for this game.
Yeah.
They looked at the film and they realized that the Chiefs cannot stop 21 personnel. Can't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Can't stop it at all. 3 wide receivers, tight end, running back, can't stop it. And they just went at it and went at them and went at them, and that to start the game led to 14-0.
Mahomes looked slow in the beginning too. I don't know if it was nerves, the cold. He was slow in the first half. The Chiefs' offense wasn't doing much. They didn't put up any points. He was missing some throws really long in the beginning. His first 2 throws were really long.
I think so. Now, second quarter was a little slow. So was most of the third.
14-0.
The punt that Edelman got called that it hit off his hand. Because they called it that it was a muff.
Was it 14?
It was 17-7. Oh no, it was 17-14 at the time of the muff. Yeah. I just think it's hard to reverse that call. We've seen it so. How many times this year have we seen a call that we think is one way, but since they called it one way on the field, they don't reverse it?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what that call should have been.
And as a Patriots fan watching that, you're thinking, I mean, I didn't think he touched it, but at the same time, you're thinking the call on the field hurts.
Mm-hmm.
That is what hurts the opportunity of it
He
being
also
overturned.
he also tried to touch it. He tried to get that ball so hard.
Yeah, but you look at the replay and you see it. It looks like it could hit the left thumb, but you never. The key to the slow motion replay is that you never see the skin move. It's so slow motion that if the ball hit him in the skin, that you'd see
It
something.
probably
move.
would have changed the trajectory of the ball.
And
but,
yeah, ball would not have been. If it hit his thumb, it would not have been able to bounce over his other arm.
So that was the first call. The fourth quarter was amazing.
Oh, and another thing I just want to add: the people who I was watching, not even the people I was watching the game with, the fact that people all over the world thought it was going to be a touchdown because he picked it up. And thought he was running it into the end zone, that it was a touchdown.
I got into an argument with the people that I was watching with. Everyone was against me. I was like, trust me, I know the rules of football. I watch it.
It would have been
a lot.
down to the 20. I mean, maybe the Patriots get a stop, but people were like, "Oh my God, it's a touchdown."
Patriots are it's gonna be tied. I was like, no.
Yeah,
Just
just
let
get
me
away from me.
explain.
Get away from me.
So that was the first call that could have went either way. I understand. I don't think anyone touched the ball either.
Yeah.
He tried a lot. The call on the field was one way. That's why I think it probably should have stayed.
Evidently, Brady throws a pick in that same drive.
Yeah, that was the one that got tipped, right?
Yeah, Edelman just dropped it. Edelman just completely
one thing
missed
that
it.
we completely glossed over. It was, I think, 7-0, 14-0, where the Patriots were dominating, got to the goal line, the Brady
Oh, the interception. Such a stupid throw.
That's terrible. If they run the ball in there,
it was second down when they threw it?
Yeah, I was looking at the people around me. I was like, touchdown here in the game is kind of over. Because I didn't think the Patriots
yeah, it
would
would
go
have been
lead.
yeah. You watch it and you're thinking, why would Brady? Gronk was not open. There was a guy right in front of Gronk. I mean, in his defense, the defensive lineman that intercepted it did have hops. He got up there for a big boy, but.
So that was a big game, kind of swung the momentum, kept it alive. But then we moved to the fourth quarter.
Probably, the highest scoring fourth quarter ever, and probably the most exciting fourth quarter.
It was back and forth, trying to tie it up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the Chiefs were up 4, correct?
Yep.
And then I'll have Damian Williams touchdown. They were up 4.
Damian Williams had
monster game.
Yeah.
Pat's gonna stop him.
Kareem
not missed. The Chiefs, same thing that the Saints realized. The Chiefs realized too late that the Patriots linebackers are slow and can't really cover.
Our running backs. Yeah.
So.
Which you knew. That's why I was scared if it was Pat Saints. I was scared of Kamara going against our linebackers.
That Brady drive.
Incredible.
Edelman was great. Hogan.
There was 1 minute. There were 4 minutes left, and they got it all the way down to a minute.
Hogan.
30th.
I think Hogan dropped that ball.
The insane catch.
I don't think that was a catch. I think the wrong move when he hit the ground. Looked like he lost control of it.
I don't know.
The roughing the passer call was egregious.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't roughing the passer, but if you rewatch that play, Edelman was held and it was pass interference. But obviously that hurt, but it wasn't as detrimental as the Saints-Rams call.
Also,
by far.
Was it in overtime, the offsides?
Oh, yeah. That was the overtime drive. No,
it wasn't.
End of the fourth quarter.
Oh, because the Patriots were losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that drive, right?
It was when that drive, it might have been, it wasn't overtime.
It wasn't overtime. The Chiefs.
No, it was when Brady threw it over the head of Gronk and it got intercepted. That was 50. No, it was a minute left in the game. It was
the Patriots were losing.
Yeah, Patriots were losing on that drive.
Yeah, they were down.
And then the game would have been over. The game would have been over if the Chiefs picked it.
He was.
There might have been 3 minutes left. I don't know. It was towards the end of the fourth quarter.
He was offsides, but you can't go offsides there, D4.
And people are like, you can't call that late. That doesn't make any sense. He was offsides. It wasn't like.
And they didn't even call it late. It was
everyone was just waiting for the flag. But
I thought the flag was on New England too. I thought that was the game.
Yeah, and it would have been over. It was an interception regardless.
And then
it hit Gronk in the hands. Everyone was like, "That was a horrible throw." Yes, it was a horrible throw, but it hit Gronk in the hands. He needs to catch that, or just not let it go over.
And then Patrick Mahomes was amazing.
That's 39 seconds left.
39-second drive. That was beautiful.
It was. I mean, I'm not degrading Patrick Mahomes on that drive, but there was 2 penalties that helped. His throw to was it?
It was pass the sideline. That was pass interference. Is that the one you're talking about?
No, who caught the ball? On the catch up the middle, to get them into the 20.
Oh, Watkins. It was down the left side, right?
No, I can't think of who it was, but he did get the pass interference call, which really helped the drive.
Mm-hmm.
There was another penalty on the Patriots. Wasn't it defensive? Was there?
No, there was
two penalties on the drive.
no, there was a roughing the passer call.
Roughing the passer.
Flowers hit him.
It was pass
Flowers hit him
interference.
solo. It was the pass interference. People were trying to argue, but that was pass interference. He grabbed him the whole time. Didn't really let him move.
That throw to the end zone by Mahomes was risky.
No, because he threw it out.
He threw it out, but like
they were testing this pass defense to see if they were ready for the
They
situation.
did a great job down there.
Mahomes, that reminded me of like talented. They didn't do a methodical find the matchup we like, win that matchup like a one-on-one matchup like Edelman versus the corners in overtime and Brady makes a throw. It was like this is like the difference that I draw between Brady and Rodgers. Brady has a great scheme. And he's very great at making reads and making the right throws and then deciding to not make throws when he knows it's not going to go well. Rodgers uses his talent to throw guys open and plays break down, and you see him make these magical plays. The play to Jared Cook in the NFC divisional game. The play to Randall Cobb to go to the playoffs against the Bears, scrambling out. Mahomes just makes these throws that are so incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the game, and like as an opposing team fan, you're like watching it. You're like, this kid is something special. He throws it sidearm.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember, I think it was a wheel route for Williams. He was going up the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
He just tossed it, like literally went over the head of the linebacker and just landed right. It was insane.
So then Butker kicks the field goal. We
I
go
thought
OT.
the Patriots should have iced him like 3 times.
The second.
Put New England on the toss, And
was Eric Berry's got to get his hand up for that ball versus Gronk.
Yeah, and Edelman redeemed himself for that tip interception.
Yeah.
He was huge on third down. 3 or 2 catches? 2 or 3?
3.
3 catches.
I think it was
2
3.
third down conversions. Gronk wasn't, obviously he looked slow, but he was
if
there.
If you're
when you
Andy
needed him.
Reid, there is no clock management. The game's going on until it's over. Your defense just got burned down the field. You got to use a timeout. You got to freshen them up.
Yeah.
Timeouts don't matter in regards to stopping the clock because the clock doesn't matter. It's sudden death. You keep going. You play till someone wins. You got to call a timeout there. You got to rush your defense. Your season's on the line.
And it's weird to think that like Rex Burkhead all of a sudden got into the game. They didn't even use Michelle down the line. It was Burkhead.
Yeah.
But you knew
the Chiefs defense just needed to make a play. I mean.
And you knew that was the weakness of the Chiefs all year. It's the defense. It was nothing about the offense.
They went to the one-on-one matchup that they liked. They liked Edelman on the corner. Brady just needed to make the throw, and he did. He put it right where it needed to be. Edelman just went one way on his guy. And on the play to Gronk, the safety wasn't going to... Gronk ran a post because, the Patriots build plays off of each other. They'll run a play. The Rams do this too. They'll run a play, and they'll run a very similar looking play, but then go to a different look because the team's expecting them to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Earlier in the game, I think it was the drive in regulation. They threw it over the head, not a fade, but down the sideline to Gronk, and Barry was defending him, and he wasn't going to let him do that again. Gronk got inside leverage, which is so big. Getting leverage,
especially being the bigger player.
Yeah, exactly. Because how is Barry going to get around him?
Yeah.
He had the leverage because he was covering the inside. He cut to the middle, just put it right in him. That's a first down. Same thing. The leverage is huge. That's what these teams now they go to the simple leverage. Where do we have leverage? Alvin Kamara on an option route. If he's running up the middle, guys taking on the outside. He's going to cut to the inside because he has the leverage. And then
much faster than the linebacker.
Exactly. Ran it twice.
Yeah.
Touchdown Burkhead, game over. Patrick Mahomes didn't even see the field.
And I think we didn't talk about it, but like Philip Dorsett's catch in the second quarter was insane.
Yeah.
That was an insane catch.
I
was just thinking about that, but you know the Patriots. I mean, you didn't know the Patriots are going to win, but you knew if they got the ball in overtime, it was over. Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes both played great down the stretch. So it was just great football. And I'm happy. I'm obviously being a Patriots fan. You're happy they won 9th Super Bowl more than Tom Brady's 9th Super Bowl and Bill Belichick's obviously, but more than any other franchise ever.
Now, if you're the Chiefs and you're the Saints,
you're worried.
This loss is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Drew Brees just turned 40 or 41.
Yeah, 40.
You relied on some free agent signings, some rookie contracts, and some stellar play from your offense.
You're going to have to pay Kamara. You're going to have to pay Thomas.
And this really
You're going to have to
hurts
pay
just not
Lattimore.
getting any younger. It just felt like And now in the NFC, you have these teams. You have the Packers with a new head coach who people are high on, and Aaron Rodgers.
The Vikings are going to be better.
Vikings are going to be better. The Bears.
Are still competitive. Competitive. The Falcons are going to be
their
better.
division's going to be better. The Falcons aren't going to have those injuries, hopefully.
The Seahawks are going to make some accusations knowing that they're going to be competitive.
Garoppolo
The Cowboys.
Garoppolo is probably going to be healthy.
The Eagles.
It's going to be a difficult conference.
It's going to be a tough conference.
And then you go over to the Chiefs, who did all this with that terrible defense, having one of the best 5 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yep.
Can get rid of everything.
Young weapons. To Tyreek Hill's on his rookie deal.
Exactly.
So Sammy Watkins already extended.
We've seen quarterbacks do so much with so little. Look at the teams. I just make this comparison because I am very high on Aaron Rodgers. I think he's magical. You look at what Aaron Rodgers has done with crappy defenses around him.
Yeah.
Carrying teams to the AFC Championship.
Can't get past it.
You can kind of say that's the same thing that Patrick Mahomes did this year. Because Rodgers always had he had a Nelson. He had a good offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Then it gets to the point where your defense
is not enough. Your defense. You need your defense to step up. It's so difficult in football to need the weaker part of your team, whether that's your offense or your defense, to step up and win the game for you. It always came down to that for the Packers. They always needed their defense to step up and win the game for them. Against the Seahawks, they needed to step up and make a stop. Against the Falcons, they needed to even come and play for the game.
Yeah.
They didn't even play. And the Chiefs, they needed to step up and make a play. They did almost make these plays with like the interception, just Dee Ford offsides. But if you're the Chiefs, you feel very good.
And we didn't even mention the Rams, and the Rams are going to be the best team. Are probably going to be the best team in the NFC. We didn't even mention them in that conversation about the Saints.
Jared Goff's only getting better. He looked great.
Sean McVay's only getting wiser. But you look at it and you think, we talked about Breeze is 40. They have a ton of big guys that they need to extend. Their offensive line is
They
old.
need a lot of people to step up down the stretch. Eli Apple played great.
Eli Apple.
Mark
Once he went to New
played
Orleans,
great.
it was a different.
Remember, you go back to like our week 4 or 5
we just roasted
we
him.
were just talking about Eli Apple, and now the backup corner started for the Giants.
And Tom Brady is only getting older too. The Patriots have ran the AFC for so long, and before that, even when Brady was still playing, Manning in the Broncos kind of ran it for a few years there, but
it's very exciting for the Chiefs fans because think about it, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got him for years to come.
And in that division, Phillip Rivers is only getting older too.
Phillip Rivers is only getting older. That defense is getting better, but they're only getting older. The Broncos, you don't even know what's going on.
And there's so much. I think there's way more talent in the
Raiders
NFC.
are years away.
Let's go. If you just look through every team in the AFC just really quick. The Dolphins don't have a quarterback. The Jets, young. Darnold, maybe they get there, but Darnold's no Mahomes.
You think about just next 5 years. Just think about it that way.
Well, let's think about who's gonna be. Let's just say who's gonna be competitive. Let's not go through every team, but the Browns.
The Patriots will be.
Yeah.
In the South, the Texans are always going to be iffy.
The Jaguars, if they get a quarterback, but they have an
even,
old defense. Their defense is gonna get so old.
Step up. The Titans.
I don't like Marcus Mariota.
The Colts will be. The Colts will be very good.
Yeah. The Texans have potential to be very good.
And then you go to the North. You don't even know what's going on with. You don't know what's going on with AB.
Big Ben's old.
Ravens are going to be probably a so-so team.
Yeah, they're going to be like
the Browns will be good.
The Ravens are going to be exactly like the Eagles with Mike Vick. That's what it's going to come down to. The Browns will be good. The Bengals, no, there's nothing there. Andy Dalton isn't it.
Mike Vick was a little better throwing the ball than Lamar Jackson, but
I think that will come with
age.
It's wide open.
It's wide open, and they have a lot of core coming back, a lot of great pieces. That offense is dynamic. The defense, they lost Eric Berry for most of the year.
When they go into this offseason, they need to just focus on defense.
They need to, because in the modern day NFL, we've talked about this. It's very hard, unless you're Vic Fangio, you have an amazing scheme and amazing players. I don't want to use the word impossible, but it's highly unrealistic to create a defense that's going to shut down other teams.
Yeah.
You can have games where they might hold a team to not a lot of points, but I saw it in the Rams-Chiefs game back in week 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
The modern-day defense in the NFL comes down to having playmakers that are going to make plays because it's hard to shut down teams.
Yeah.
And in that game, their playmakers made plays. Aaron Donald was making plays.
Mm-hmm.
Linebacker Samson Ebukam. Players for the Chiefs were making plays. Chris Jones. And as they add a couple more playmakers, they need to beef up that secondary,
Yeah.
get some playmakers.
And you talk about bend, don't break, too, and we saw the Rams do that. Obviously, they have these great playmakers, but the defense as a whole does not break down off of one big play.
4-point plays in the NFL, determining between a field goal and a touchdown.
Yeah.
That first matchup between the Chiefs and Patriots came down to one team's red zone efficiency versus another team's red zone inefficiency.
And you look at the Patriots, too. They've never had huge names on their defense, but they have guys like Gilmore and McCourty, who are the playmakers, Hightower even. Trey Flowers, but they don't. The whole defense as a whole does not break.
And this Patriots dynasty has come down to people stepping up when they're not expected to. Because
Exactly.
they always have Brady and Belichick, but they have guys stepping up. James White, they had Gilmore step up.
J.C. Jackson.
J.C.
stepped
Jackson.
up.
But you just look at, if you combine this Chiefs offense, this dynamic offense that's scoring 35 a game,
Yeah.
with a defense that's only going to give up the 3 points, that can keep them to a bend, don't break. That's going to be something to watch
And
next year.
I think it starts with coaching, because a lot of coaches in the NFL are like, let's get turnovers, like go for a risky pass. Where the Patriots would be like, let him catch it, tackle great,
Don't
keep
let him
don't let him
get
go
the
over the
first
top. Exactly. But the Chiefs need to figure that out, and
I think they're going
they're
to,
Gonna, they're going to
and-
reign they're going to be the kings of the AFC for a while to come here, as long as they can keep it consistent.
Once that torch is passed,
One, if if Brady ever retires.
let's say one. Let's not say F. He's human.
Yeah, but
Um,
we're not going to get into the Super Bowl preview. We'll do that later. Actually, we'll do that later this week.
we'll have a beefy, in-depth. We have 2 weeks to get a preview done. We'll get a couple of in-depth previews for you guys.
Yep.
But
We'll do an off-season prediction. What each rising team should do, something like that. We'll have a lot
stay
of time.
ready. We'll have some content for you.
Yeah, but this was a great episode.
To Saints fans, sorry for your loss. Chiefs fans,
maybe next year.
I'm sorry for your loss, but you got to be excited about your future. Look at what Patty Mahomes did this year.
And this is like the second year in a row, like something at the end of the game just completely screwed over. I mean, I don't know what the safety was doing last year against the Vikings for the Saints, but 2 years in a row, heartbreaking losses that should have won. But focus on football. I'm Ben Aronson here with.
Matthew Martin.
We will see you later this week.